The 1986 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is a remarkable modern-era U.S. coin that has gained surprising attention in the numismatic community, not only for its place in the long-running Washington quarter series, but also for the fact that certain rare, high-grade, or error examples can reach a market value as high as $1,900 today. Struck at the Denver Mint, identifiable by the small D Mint mark located to the right of George Washington's ponytail ribbon on the obverse, this coin is part of a series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. By 1986, the Washington quarter had been in continuous production for over 5 decades, but the design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, remained essentially unchanged, a testament to its enduring appeal and iconic status in American coinage. The obverse features a left-facing bust of George Washington, America's first president, rendered in a dignified neoclassical style with the inscriptions "Liberty" above his head, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1986 below. The reverse of the coin carries the striking heraldic eagle design, wings spread proudly, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, a symbol of national defense, while an olive branch beneath represents the pursuit of peace. Above the eagle's head arcs the motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one, a phrase that perfectly encapsulates the United States' founding ideals, while the outer rim bears the denomination United States of America and quarter dollar. The coin's composition in 1986 was the modern clad formula introduced in 1965, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin a silvery appearance but without the precious metal content found in earlier silver quarters. Weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter, with a reeded edge, the 1986 D quarter was mass-produced for circulation, with a Denver mintage of over 504 million coins. This massive production run means that most circulated examples hold only face value, but the story changes drastically when we look at uncirculated, high-grade, and error coins from this year. In gem condition, particularly those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, the coin's value skyrockets due to the rarity of such well-preserved specimens. Even though millions were struck, most entered circulation immediately and suffered from contact marks, scratches, and loss of original luster, making pristine survivors incredibly scarce. A flawless, lustrous 1986 D quarter with sharp details, full strike, and no visible imperfections can fetch prices up to $1,900 at auction, as seen in several recent sales that have shocked casual collectors who once considered modern clad quarters to be of little value. The high demand for such coins is fueled by registry set collectors, individuals who compete to assemble the finest known examples of each date and mint mark, creating intense bidding wars for the best of the best. In addition to high-grade condition rarities, error coins from the 1986 D quarter issue are also highly prized. Examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, each of which adds uniqueness and collectability. For instance, a dramatic off-center strike showing only part of Washington's portrait can sell for hundreds, while a double-struck coin or one struck on the wrong planchet can reach into the thousands, especially if certified by a reputable grading service. Some 1986 D quarters have also been discovered with double-die obverse varieties, where doubling is visible on the date, lettering, or mint mark, an error that significantly increases desirability. Historically, the year 1986 was an important time in America, marking the 100th anniversary of the Statue of Liberty, the rise of personal computing technology, and significant economic shifts in the Reagan era. The Washington quarter of this period reflects a nation in the midst of both technological advancement and traditional values, continuing the legacy of honoring its first president while adapting to the realities of modern minting. For many collectors, The 1986 D quarter serves as a bridge between the older silver coinage era and the later state quarters program, representing a time when the design was still uniform across all states and territories. Its appeal lies not just in its monetary potential, but also in its role as a tangible artifact of 1980s America, a decade remembered for its bold culture, shifting politics, and economic optimism. For investors, owning a top-graded example is both a financial and historical win, as the population of surviving MS-67 or MS-68 coins is extremely low compared to the original mintage. The Denver Mint's production quality in 1986 was generally good, but the sheer volume of coins struck meant that dies wore out quickly, resulting in many weakly struck examples, which makes those with razor-sharp detail all the more desirable. The value of the 1986 D quarter has risen steadily in recent years as more collectors recognize the scarcity of high-grade examples and as competitive registry set collecting pushes auction prices higher. While the average person might overlook this coin in pocket change, numismatists know that finding one in perfect condition is like winning a small lottery. Many experts recommend searching through old mint sets from 1986, as these coins were never released into circulation and have the best chance of yielding pristine quarters. Still, even mint set coins often suffer from haze, toning, or bag marks, meaning that finding one worthy of a top grade is a challenge. This rarity within abundance, where a coin with a mintage of over 500 million can still be valuable, illustrates one of the most fascinating aspects of numismatics. Value is not only about how many were made, but about how many survive in exceptional condition. A perfect example of this coin represents the intersection of artistry, history, and rarity, making it a coveted piece for serious collectors. Imagine inheriting an old coin collection from a relative and finding a brilliant, untouched 1986 D quarter. Upon sending it to PCGS, it grades MS-67 Plus and sells at auction for $1,900. This is not an impossible dream. It has happened to others and could happen again. For beginner collectors, the 1986 D Washington quarter is an excellent learning tool for studying strike quality, luster, and modern minting processes, while for seasoned collectors, it's a high-stakes hunt for the best possible example. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and the rewards of thorough searching. Ultimately, the 1986 D Mint Mark quarter dollar is proof that modern U.S. coins can hold substantial value when rarity meets condition and collector demand. While most examples are common and worth only 25 cents, the finest survivors, gleaming, with original mint luster, free from blemishes, and boasting sharp, well-defined features, stand as valuable treasures that connect everyday pocket change to the upper echelons of the numismatic market. For those fortunate enough to own one, especially in top grade or with a striking mint error, the humble quarter transforms into a coin worth nearly $2,000, carrying with it a story of American craftsmanship, historical continuity, and the enduring legacy of George Washington on U.S. currency. Next up, the 1967 No Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is an extraordinary and historically significant coin in the world of U.S. numismatics, not only for its place in the Washington Quarter series, but also for its unique position in American coinage history, its striking design, and the surprising fact that certain rare high-grade or error examples can command a market value as high as $2,200 today. Struck at the height of a transitional era in U.S. minting, this quarter carries no mint mark, a decision that was not due to it being made exclusively in Philadelphia, as was the case in earlier years, but rather as part of a deliberate nationwide policy by the U.S. Mint between 1965 and 1967 to eliminate mint marks entirely. This temporary measure was introduced to discourage coin hoarding during a period when rising silver prices and public uncertainty about the new copper-nickel-clad coinage were causing widespread shortages of coins in circulation. The 1967 Washington quarter was therefore produced without mint marks at all three major U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, making it impossible to determine exactly where a given piece was struck. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse of the coin features the familiar left-facing bust of George Washington, America's first president, portrayed with stately dignity. Above his head is the inscription Liberty, a proud declaration of the nation's founding principle, while the motto, In God We Trust, appears to the left, and the date 1967 is positioned at the bottom. The reverse displays a bold heraldic eagle, wings spread majestically, perched atop a bundle of arrows to symbolize the strength and readiness of the United States, with an olive branch beneath to signify its desire for peace. Surrounding this powerful imagery are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, with the national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one, above the eagle's head. The 1967 quarter was composed of a copper-nickel-clad alloy, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, a composition introduced in 1965 to replace the 90% silver content that had been standard since the coin's debut in 1932. This change was driven by the rising cost of silver and the need to ensure adequate supplies of circulating coinage. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge. While over 1.5 billion quarters were minted in 1967, making it one of the highest mintage years in the series, most of these coins entered circulation immediately and experienced years of wear, scratches, and loss of luster, meaning pristine. Examples are now far scarcer than the massive mintage would suggest. This scarcity of high-grade survivors is one of the key reasons why certain examples in MS-67 or higher grades, especially those certified by PCGS or NGC, can sell for $2,200 or more. Collectors are particularly eager to find coins with full, sharp strikes, blazing original luster, and no distracting contact marks, as these are rare given the mass production nature of the year's output. In addition to grade rarity, the 1967 quarter also boasts a fascinating niche among error coin enthusiasts. Notable error types include double-die obverses showing visible doubling on the date or lettering, off-center strikes where a portion of the design is missing due to misalignment, clipped planchets where part of the blank metal disc was missing before striking, and die cracks that can create raised lines across the coin's surface. Even more dramatic are wrong planchet errors, instances where a quarter design was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a dime or foreign coin, which can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Each of these errors represents a unique accident in the minting process and is highly collectible, with prices dependent on both rarity and visual appeal. Historically, the year 1967 was a dynamic time for the United States, marked by the continuing space race, major cultural shifts, and political changes. Owning a 1967 quarter is like holding a small piece of this transformative period in American history. It was the year before the Mint resumed placing mint marks on coins in 1968, making the 1965-1967 no mint mark issues a distinct and historically important subset within the broader Washington Quarter series. For many collectors, assembling a complete set of Washington quarters includes securing a high-grade 1967 example, not only for its beauty and craftsmanship, but also for its connection to a unique moment in U.S. numismatic history when mint marks were intentionally omitted. The coin's copper-nickel-clad composition also marked the solidification of a new era in American coinage, one in which precious metals would no longer be used in circulating dimes, quarters, and half dollars. Despite its modern composition, the 1967 quarter remains beloved for its artistry and symbolic design, which has endured for decades and continues to represent George Washington's leadership and the nation's ideals. The fact that such a common coin in circulation can, in top condition, be worth thousands of dollars is a powerful reminder to always check your pocket change, coin rolls, and inherited collections carefully. Many people unknowingly spend rare, high-grade coins simply because they are unaware of their potential value. Finding a gem-quality 1967 quarter with brilliant uncirculated luster is no small feat, but the reward for doing so, both financially and in terms of collector satisfaction, can be immense. Auction records show that serious bidding wars often erupt over the finest known examples, driven by competitive registry set collectors who aim to build the highest-ranking Washington quarter sets possible. As more collectors enter the hobby, and awareness of modern coin rarity increases, the value of top-grade 1967 quarters is expected to remain strong, if not grow further. For anyone who discovers one in an original mint set, in a forgotten drawer, or in a family coin jar, it is essential to handle it carefully by the edges, avoid cleaning it, which can drastically reduce its value, and consider professional grading to confirm its authenticity and condition. Whether appreciated as a historical artifact, a work of numismatic art, or a high-value collectible, the 1967 no-mint Mark Washington quarter dollar stands as a fascinating example of how even coins from massive mintage years can achieve significant value under the right circumstances. Its story weaves together themes of American history, economic change, minting policy, and collector passion. And for the lucky individuals who hold one in pristine condition, it is not. Next up. The 1982 D-Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is one of those fascinating coins from the modern era of U.S. coinage that perfectly illustrates how a piece of everyday change can transform into a high-value collectible when rarity, condition, and collector demand come together. Struck at the Denver Mint in 1982, this quarter is marked by the small D Mint mark located just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse. It belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter Series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth and designed by sculptor John Flanagan. The obverse features a stately left-facing profile of Washington, his hair tied back in the classical style of the late 18th century, with the word Liberty boldly arching above his head. To the left of the portrait appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the date 1982 sits neatly below. The reverse showcases the powerful heraldic eagle design, wings outstretched in a show of national strength, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons to symbolize readiness for defense, while an olive branch beneath the arrows reflects America's ongoing pursuit of peace. The inscriptions, "United States of America" and "Quarter Dollar" form the outer rim, and above the eagle's head appears "E pluribus unum," out of many one, the enduring motto that emphasizes unity from diversity. The 1982 Washington Quarter holds a unique place in U.S. numismatic history because it was minted during a period of significant change and policy shifts at the U.S. Mint. The coin's composition was the modern clad formula introduced in 1965, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. One of the most notable aspects of 1982 quarters, and a major reason why high-grade specimens are scarce, is that no official uncirculated mint sets were produced by the U.S. Mint that year. This meant that the majority of 1982 quarters went directly into circulation, where they quickly suffered from contact marks, scratches, and loss of luster. Without mint sets to preserve pristine examples, the survival rate of gem-quality 1982 D quarters is extremely low compared to other years. While the Denver Mint produced over 480 million of these coins, finding one in MS-67 or higher with full strike and blazing luster is exceedingly rare. This scarcity in top grades is what drives the value of the 1982 D quarter to remarkable heights. In today's market, a superb gem certified by PCGS or NGC can fetch as much as $2,300 at auction as competitive registry set collectors battle to secure the best possible examples for their collections. The jump in value from one grade to the next can be dramatic. An MS-66 coin might sell for a few $100s, while an MS-67 can command thousands. This sharp value curve reflects the extremely limited population of coins that have been professionally graded at these upper levels. Collectors are especially eager for pieces that display full mint luster, sharp design details, and minimal contact marks, as even tiny imperfections can lower the grade and thus the market value significantly. In addition to condition rarity, the 1982 D quarter is also known to exist with interesting minting errors and die varieties that can further enhance its desirability. Some notable examples include off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned due to the planchet not being properly centered. Clipped planchets, where part of the blank metal disc is missing. Die cracks, which appear as raised lines caused by breaks in the die. And even double die obverses, where design elements such as the date, lettering, or mint mark appear doubled under magnification. Dramatic errors, especially when combined with high-grade preservation, can sell for far more than standard issue examples, sometimes reaching several $1,000s. Another intriguing aspect is the existence of wrong planchet strikes, where a 1982 quarter design was mistakenly struck on a smaller or differently composed planchet, creating a coin with incorrect weight and size. These are extremely rare and highly sought after by advanced error collectors. Historically, the year 1982 was a time of economic challenge and transition in the United States, marked by high interest rates, the continuing effects of the late 1970s recession, and the early years of Ronald Reagan's presidency. In the world of coinage, the mint was still adapting to the clad coinage era, having moved away from silver content nearly 2 decades earlier. The decision to forego uncirculated sets in 1982 was part of a cost-cutting measure, but it had the unintended effect of making high-grade circulation strikes from that year significantly harder to find today. This means that the 1982 D quarter is not only valuable for its numismatic rarity, but also as a tangible artifact from a distinct period in American economic and minting history. For collectors, the challenge of finding a pristine 1982 D quarter is part of the appeal. Many seek these coins by searching through original bank rolls from the era, cherry-picking uncirculated examples from old collections, or examining inherited coin jars. Some of the finest known examples have come from long-forgotten stashes that were set aside in the 1980s and left untouched for decades. Even so, the odds of finding a coin worthy of a top-tier grade are slim, as most pieces bear at least minor handling marks from the minting and distribution process. For this reason, professional grading is essential for confirming condition and authenticity, and coins graded by PCGS or NGC carry a level of trust and marketability that raw coins simply cannot match. The 1982 D Washington quarter also serves as a great teaching coin for new collectors. It demonstrates how mintage figures alone do not determine rarity. After all, with nearly 500 million coins struck, one might assume it would be easy to find a valuable example. In reality, it is the combination of grade scarcity, lack of preserved mint set coins, and registry set demand that drives the value. This lesson extends to other modern coins and underscores the importance of understanding all the factors that contribute to a coin's worth. For advanced collectors, the 1982 D quarter is often a key target for completing high-grade Washington quarter sets. The registry set competition is fierce, and securing an MS-67 example can mean the difference between a top-ranking set and one that lags behind. Because of this competition, prices for the best examples have remained strong and are expected to remain so in the foreseeable future. Additionally, with increased public awareness of coin collecting, thanks in part to online marketplaces, social media, and coin-focused YouTube channels, there is a steady influx of new collectors who are learning about the value hidden in coins from their own lifetime. Imagine discovering a gleaming, untouched 1982 D quarter in a family coin collection, sending it off for grading, and learning that it is one of the finest known examples in existence, then watching it sell at auction for $2,300. Such finds are rare, but they do happen, and they are part of what keeps the hobby exciting for both newcomers and seasoned numismatists. Whether viewed as an investment, a historical artifact, or simply a beautiful piece of American coinage, the 1982 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar remains a standout in modern numismatics. Its story, shaped by minting policies, economic realities, and the relentless pursuit of perfection by collectors, ensures that it will continue to hold both historical and financial significance for years to come. Next up, the 1989 No Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is one of those intriguing modern-era U.S. coins that proves not all valuable numismatic treasures are decades or centuries old. While millions of quarters were minted for circulation in 1989, certain rare examples without a mint mark, most notably those struck at the Philadelphia Mint, have become highly sought after in top grades, with the finest survivors reaching market values as high as $2,500. Designed by the accomplished sculptor John Flanagan, whose work first appeared on the quarter in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, the obverse of the coin features the iconic left-facing profile of the first U.S. president. Washington is portrayed with a strong yet composed expression, his hair tied back in the classical style of the late 18th century. Arching above his head is the word liberty. To his left appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," and at the base of the portrait is the date 1989. On the reverse, Flanagan's heraldic eagle spreads its wings in a bold display of national strength, gripping a bundle of arrows in its talons as a symbol of military readiness, while an olive branch beneath reflects America's desire for peace. Surrounding this image are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, with the motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one, placed above the eagle's head. Like all quarters minted after 1965, the 1989 issue was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. In 1989, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters for circulation, but as per the convention of the time, Philadelphia struck quarters bore no mint mark. While this was standard practice, the combination of heavy circulation, bag marks from mint handling, and the fact that most people did not save contemporary coins in pristine condition means that truly flawless 1989 no mint mark quarters are extremely rare. Unlike certain earlier years where official mint sets helped preserve a large number of uncirculated examples, the 1989 Philadelphia issue has relatively few coins surviving in MS-67 or higher condition. It is this condition rarity that gives the 1989 no mint mark quarter its potential value of $2,500 in the highest grades certified by PCGS or NGC. While a well-worn example from everyday change is worth only face value, a perfectly preserved coin with full original luster, sharp design details, and virtually no contact marks can ignite fierce bidding among registry set collectors. These competitive collectors seek the very finest examples of each date and mint mark in the Washington Quarter series, and because the population of ultra-high-grade 1989 quarters is so small, demand often far outstrips supply. Auction records show that when a top-graded coin comes up for sale, prices can skyrocket, reflecting the intense competition for these modern condition rarities. Another element adding to the appeal of the 1989 no mint mark quarter is the possibility of error. Varieties. While the majority of coins struck that year are standard issues, some were produced with dramatic minting mistakes that make them even more collectible. Examples include double-die obverses, where doubling can be seen in the date, lettering, or motto. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment during striking. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the blank metal disc was absent before the coin was struck, and die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the coin's surface due to breaks in the die. Particularly valuable are wrong planchet errors, cases where the 1989 quarter design was struck on a planchet intended for a smaller denomination, such as a nickel or dime, resulting in an incorrect weight and size. Each of these errors is a product of mint machinery missteps, and their rarity, combined with visual distinctiveness, can elevate them well above even the $2,500 mark for standard high-grade examples. From a historical perspective, 1989 was a pivotal year in both world and U.S. events. Globally, it marked the beginning of the end of the Cold War, with the fall of the Berlin Wall later that year symbolizing a shift in geopolitical power. In the United States, the George H.W. Bush presidency had just begun, ushering in changes in both domestic and foreign policy. While these events might seem unrelated to coinage, the 1989 Washington quarter serves as a small but tangible artifact of that time, a daily use object that, in the hands of collectors decades later, connects us to the social, political, and economic landscape of the late 1980s. Collectors who target the 1989 no mint mark quarter often appreciate not only its numismatic qualities, but also the challenge it presents. The search for a gem-quality example can involve hunting through original bank-wrapped rolls, sifting through old change jars, or purchasing uncirculated sets from the era in the hope of finding an exceptional coin. Even then, most coins display the nicks, scrapes, and dulling of luster that come from the minting and distribution process. This is why the few that survive in near-perfect condition command such high premiums. Preservation is key. Once a coin's surfaces are marred, its chances of achieving a top grade vanish. Handling coins only by the edges, storing them in inert, protective holders, and avoiding any cleaning, which can destroy numismatic value, are essential practices for maintaining condition. One of the fascinating lessons the 1989 no mint mark quarter teaches collectors is that rarity is not always about low mintage. With hundreds of millions struck, the year's issue is one of the most common in absolute numbers, yet among the most elusive in the highest collectible grades. This flips the typical beginner assumption that old and rare always means valuable, and instead shows that modern coins can achieve significant value when condition rarity, collector competition, and historical context align. As more collectors build complete Washington quarter date and mint mark sets, demand for top-graded 1989 quarters has remained steady, and with growing awareness of their scarcity, values have the potential to rise further. Coin grading services have documented only a small number of MS-67 examples and virtually no coins at MS-68 or higher, making each discovery of a fresh gem all the more exciting for the numismatic community. The registry set phenomenon, NGC, which collectors compete to assemble the finest possible graded sets of specific series, has been a major driver of this coin's value. Even a single-point upgrade in grade can propel a collector's set higher in the rankings, leading to intense competition and aggressive bidding when a superior example appears at auction. This competitive spirit keeps the market for rare high-grade, modern coins vibrant and ensures that coins like the 1989 no mint mark quarter remain in the spotlight. For those fortunate enough to own a superb example, the decision of whether to keep or sell often comes down to personal collecting goals. Some hold on to their coin as a long-term investment. believing that the combination of low top-grade populations and steady collector demand will keep values strong or even increase over time. Others seize the opportunity to capitalize on current, high prices, selling their coin to a collector who needs it to complete a top-tier set. Either way, owning a 1989 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar in near-perfect condition is a source of pride, representing both a remarkable stroke of luck in finding it and a connection to the artistry and history embedded in U.S. coinage. In the end, this coin is much more than just 25 cents. It is a testament to the enduring appeal of the Washington quarter design, the importance of careful preservation, and the surprising treasures that can be hidden in plain sight. For the casual observer, a 1989 quarter may be nothing more than loose change in a pocket. But for the informed collector, it has the potential to be a $2,500 prize, a symbol of numismatic skill and dedication, and a reminder that the next big discovery might be just one coin away. Next up, the 1970 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar is a fascinating and highly desirable coin in the Washington quarter series, representing an era when the Philadelphia Mint was still producing coins without any mint mark, a practice that would later change for certain denominations. While millions of quarters were struck in Philadelphia in 1970, most entered general circulation and experienced heavy wear, making the survival of pristine examples extremely uncommon. In the very highest grades, coins graded MS-67 or better by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC, the 1970 no-mint mark quarter can command an impressive market value of $2,700, particularly when boasting strong luster, crisp strike details, and immaculate surfaces. The coin's design, created by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, had already become an enduring staple of American coinage by 1970. On the obverse, Washington is shown in left-facing profile, his hair tied back in the classic colonial style with the inscription Liberty arching above, In God We Trust positioned to the left, and the date 1970 below the neckline. The reverse continues Flanagan's depiction of the heraldic eagle, its wings spread in a posture of readiness, clutching a bundle of arrows to signify national defense, with an olive branch beneath symbolizing peace. Encircling the design are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, while E pluribus unum appears just above the eagle's head, reflecting the nation's unity through diversity. Like all quarters struck after the Coinage Act of 1965, the 1970 issue was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. An outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its distinctive silver-gray appearance, while reducing the intrinsic metal value compared to the earlier 90% silver quarters. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. Although the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1970 quarters, the overwhelming majority were used in commerce, which inevitably subjected them to nicks, scratches, bag marks, and loss of original mint luster. The scarcity in ultra-high grades is not due to low mintage, but rather to the realities of mass production and circulation. Even coins pulled directly from rolls or bags in 1970 often display contact marks from mint handling or slightly weak strikes, and locating a flawless coin with strong eye appeal is a formidable challenge. The $2,700 market valuation applies to the few surviving MS-67 or higher examples, which are prized by registry set collectors competing to assemble the finest possible Washington quarter collections. These collectors focus on obtaining top-grade coins for every date and mint mark, and when populations in these grades are extremely low, as they are for the 1970 no mint mark, demand can far exceed supply. This creates an intense bidding environment whenever such a coin surfaces at auction. A perfect storm of factors contributes to the value: the historical continuity of the Washington quarter design, the mid-century transition in U.S. coinage, composition, and the condition rarity of this specific date. Some examples also feature minor die varieties or minting errors, which can boost collector interest and market price. Such errors may include double die obverses or reverses, where design elements show clear doubling, off-center strikes, with part of the design missing, clipped planchets, where a small curved portion of the coin is missing due to a blanking punch overlap, and die cracks, raised lines caused by fractures in the coinage dies. More dramatic are the rare cases where a quarter is struck on a foreign or wrong denomination planchet, for example, a nickel or dime blank, leading to an incorrect weight, diameter, and sometimes even color. These error coins, particularly, when they can be traced back to the 1970 issue, are highly collectible and can far exceed the standard $2,700 value for a perfect non-error specimen. From a historical context, 1970 was a transitional year in American society. The Vietnam War was still ongoing. The Apollo 13 mission famously experienced its near-disastrous malfunction, and cultural shifts were rapidly changing the social fabric of the United States. While the quarter might seem unrelated to these larger events, coins from any given year serve as small, tangible artifacts of their time, quietly passing through millions of hands and embedding themselves in the everyday economic activity of the nation. For numismatists, the 1970 no-mint mark quarter offers not only the appeal of rarity and design beauty, but also a connection to the economic and cultural climate of the era in which it was struck. The fact that Philadelphia coins of this time bore no mint mark adds an extra historical layer, as later changes in U.S. mint policy would phase out this tradition for certain denominations, making no mint mark issues from the late 1960s and early 1970s an identifiable subset within the larger Washington Quarter series. The pursuit of a top-grade 1970 no-mint mark quarter often begins with searching through uncirculated rolls, mint sets from the era, or large accumulations of coins saved by the public. However, even coins preserved in original mint packaging can fall short of the highest grades due to spotting, haze, or contact marks incurred during production. The difficulty in finding a pristine example means that when one is certified at the highest levels, it instantly becomes an object of desire for advanced collectors. The practice of coin grading, assigning a numerical score to a coin's condition, has become central to modern numismatics, and the difference in value between one grade and the next can be dramatic. For the 1970 no-mint mark quarter, an MS-66 coin might be worth a few $100s, while the jump to MS-67 or MS-68 can push the value into the thousands. This steep price curve reflects the population reports of grading services, which often show only a handful of coins in the absolute finest conditions. What makes the 1970 no-mint mark quarter particularly interesting from an investment perspective is its combination of relative modernity and genuine scarcity in top grade. Many people assume that only older coins can be worth thousands of dollars, but this coin proves otherwise. The reality is that modern-era coins can become valuable if they meet the right conditions: high demand, low survival rate in pristine state, and established recognition in the collector community. The registry set phenomenon has amplified this dynamic, creating strong competition and stable market interest. Even casual collectors, upon learning of the potential value of a common-looking 1970 quarter, sometimes begin examining their change more closely, which in turn fuels broader awareness of the Washington Quarter series as a whole. Ultimately, the 1970 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar stands as a prime example of how numismatic value can be created not just through low mintage or intrinsic metal content, but through condition rarity, collector demand, and historical significance. With its market value reaching $2,700 in the highest grades, it represents both a rewarding target for seasoned collectors and a reminder to casual coin enthusiasts that extraordinary finds can still be made in ordinary places. Whether viewed As an investment, a historical artifact, or a testament to the skill required to preserve a coin in flawless condition for over 5 decades, the 1970 no mint mark quarter holds a special place in the story of American coinage. Its enduring appeal lies not only in the artistry of John Flanagan's design or the gleam of a perfectly preserved surface, but in the sense of discovery it inspires, proof that in the world of numismatics, the next treasure might be waiting in the most unexpected of places.